Stockport's going through a phenomenal change at the moment. There's a lot happening across the town centre and the wider borough. And what's really interesting about the changes taking place are that they're not just isolated to one sector. I'm Rhys Owen, Leasing Director at Orbit Developments. I've been with Orbit since 2004 and I've seen firsthand how Stockport has changed significantly in that time. Now is a very exciting time in Stockport. The changes over the last 10 years or so have been significant and are continuing to change on an almost daily basis. Developments like Stockport Exchange, Red Rock, the Produce Hall, the wider marketplace and underbanks are all adding value to the offer of Stockport. We've been at the heart of some of those developments and are continuing to try and engage in the change that's taking place across Stockport, but new exciting developments are taking place not just on the commercial side, residential, retail, leisure, so across all sectors, which is very exciting to see. The likes of Capital and Centric at Weir Mill and mailboxes on the A6 are both significant changes taking place. Over the last 10 years we've seen the office market in Stockport continue to stand up very well in the wider market. What we have noticed in the last 2 or 3 years particularly is the number of companies that are coming from Manchester, Cheadle, surrounding areas. And along with coming from those locations and relocating to Stockport, there's a large number of companies that are choosing Stockport over Manchester. Particularly over 2020, we've seen companies actively moving out of Manchester or choosing not to renew leases in Manchester and move out into Stockport to benefit from the ease of the commute and everything that Stockport offers, as individuals, employees and companies are starting to reconsider whether they really need to be in Manchester city centre. But along with that, what's really interesting is that is backed up by companies coming from further afield, the likes of Leicester, Yeovil, and choosing Stockport over what used to be the easy decision just to drop into Manchester. Don't give it a second thought, they'll always be able to recruit public transport, etc. And actually those companies are doing their research and Stockport's coming out very high, if not top of the list. All the usual factors still play a big role in Stockport. So the bus station, the train station, those public transport links, the ability to recruit. We see companies in Stockport rarely struggle to recruit, something that arguably you would say Stockport and Manchester city centre sort of run neck and neck on. And that probably stands that argument that some companies are choosing Stockport over Manchester because they are confident they can recruit the kind of people they want into Stockport, and they can sell to those existing employees and perhaps new employees that change that's taking place in Stockport and why they've chosen the town centre as their business location. The talent pool for Stockport, because it is so wide, because of that accessibility, I mean there's very few towns, if any, that have got a motorway running through the middle of them almost. That public access, that public transport access, that access by road, by rail, by air, they're all covered extremely well by Stockport, and that is definitely a factor in the type and range of recruitment opportunities in Stockport. So whether you are looking for a team of 50 employees to run a call centre, whether you are a high-end solicitors practice looking to recruit new trainee talent, looking to recruit from the high-end, high fee earners in the city centre, Stockport is capable of attracting all of those employees into companies in the town centre. Stockport in the next 5 years, I'd like to say, and I'm very confident in this, that we will see the fruition of a lot of the schemes that are currently in the pipeline or underway. And really I think we'll be having these same conversations, saying a level of the same points that Stockport is continuing on that improving journey, because things don't happen overnight. Town centres don't reinvent themselves, they don't reposition themselves overnight. I've been looking after property in Stockport for about 10 years or so now, and those changes we talked about 10 years ago, some of them have only happened in the last few years, and a lot of them are catalysts to one another. That, for example, that Red Rock was a catalyst to the changes that could take place at Stockport Exchange. Those were catalysts to some of the changes around the marketplace, repositioning some of the town centre's amenity and facilities that drove change elsewhere. And I think the next 5 years we'll see that continue. Stockport's business community is arguably quite unique. The bodies that exist from the public sector to the private sector, from Stockport Council through to Marketing Stockport, Chamber of Commerce, Business Growth Hub, and various others. There's a wide range of entities to engage with business that you don't see in many other areas. We ourselves, as a property landlord and developer, we work all across South Manchester, Greater Manchester, and other locations across the northwest in the UK. And we often say, when looking at areas, what are the business bodies in that location? And more often than not, there are very few candidates. So the business community is very well supported in Stockport by public and private sector parties, and I think that's another positive factor for Stockport. So Orbit as a company have been in Stockport since the early to mid-70s. We've seen the town centre change significantly in that time. We've been at the heart of some of those developments, and we're continuing to try and be heavily involved in the change that's taking place in the town centre. So if you are a company that are thinking about Stockport, wanting to know more about what's happening, just want an informal, casual chat, learn more about how Stockport is changing from the people that are involved in that change, then drop me a line, come and have a chat. We're always open to discussing opportunities.